great little hack we can use just to speed things up a bit. You always want some tomato puree because why would you not? Hey there folks, how's it going? It's a beautiful day outside. I want to go out and play, but it's Sunday, got to make a Sunday lunch, so I'm just going to make an absolutely fantastic beef stew in the slow cooker, throw all the bits in, leave it to it for several hours. Super easy, super delicious. Let's get to it. So what I've got here, I've got some beautiful beef. This is just chopped up. I've just literally run through it with a knife. It's quite lean. Normally I would like something a bit fattier for this. Shin is fantastic. It's a fantastic cut for this dish, but I couldn't get any when I went to the store. Whatever. This will be great. It will taste absolutely fantastic. Anyway, we've got some chanteney carrots. These are just some ones that they've been sitting in the fridge. They're still fantastic. Let's just throw these in as well. Just let them cook. Onion. Some shallots, just add these in whole. They're absolutely amazing. Bit of water, bit of stock, some flavourings. Let's get a slow cooker. Whatever slow cooker you've got is fine. The regular sort of crock pot style. I happen to have one of these. It's just a multi-cooker, but it does have a slow cook function. The reason I like this is it's also got a saute function. That lets me brown the beef in the same pot and then just throw everything else in. Stick the lid on, slow cook, jobs are good. So first things first, we do need to get this beef browned. I'm not going to add flour to it at this point. I'm going to add some salt. Be generous. We'll try to build those salt layers as we go. A little bit of pepper. Again, be kind of generous. You want to make sure you get plenty of that, but not too much because it will burn while we saute. Mix through. A little bit of oil just to help things get started. You don't need much. I'm going to use a bit of sunflower. You use whatever high smoke point you've got. This will be fine. Okay, just make sure that that's nicely coated. Very nicely coated because I used too much oil. And we want the saute mode. Brown and saute. We'll let that go. I'll move it down there a bit. Can you still see that? So the beef's ready to go. We'll pop that out of the way for a moment. Carrots don't need anything, they're fine. They can just go in like that. So let's get some onions chopped. For the main onion, I don't need anything particularly special with this. Just halve it, peel it as normal. Make sure you get that leathery outer layer off. I don't really want to dice these, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to sort of half moons it. Quite chunky because these will cook down as we slow cook. Bags of flavour. There we go. So, some shallots. What I want with these, the reason I like some shallots for this, you don't need many. But I kind of like to just throw them in almost as if they were pearl onions. So just throw them in whole, let them cook. They'll add a beautiful sweetness to the finished dish. That's probably enough. Try and avoid the really big ones if you can. It doesn't matter if you end up with some of the really big ones. And then all I do is just top them and sort of give it a bit of that. Tail as well. Find the edge, find the layer. There we go. And again, sometimes that outer layer will be a little bit leathery, so that's fine. It's not totally optimal, topping and tailing them like this. If you really want to be a bit traditional, you can try and peel them without doing that. I have neither the time nor the inclination, so this is a good approximation. We'll probably speed this bit up while I just bash through these. Okay, so that's those ready to go. This should now be hot enough. Let's get this beef. Looks great. Let's get it in there. And all I'll do for this, silicone spatula, and just give it a quick stir around just to make sure everything's in contact. Make sure everything's down on the bottom of that. And there we go. I'll just leave that alone, let that brown. I'll come back to it in a few minutes. So come and have a look at this. This has been browning now for about 5 minutes. And this is a great little hack we can use just to speed things up a bit. So you can see we've got some great colour on this already. Really nice and browned. It's not browned all over because we've just not touched it while it's been browning. So what you want to do at this point, some tomato puree. You always want some tomato puree because why would you not? If you put it in at this point, then it will really sort of cook as the meat browns. I'm hoping you can see that. Just steamed up again, haven't you? I do apologise. That was maybe a good teaspoon, just decent quality tomato puree. It's fantastic. And all we'll do is we'll just stir that straight through. And then at the same time, a bit of your Worcestershire, obviously, and a bit of the old Hendersons as well now. Yeah, you definitely want this. You don't need much. So we'll just glug in some worch. Never call it worch. I'm kind of generous with that. And then as well as that, a good amount of this Henderson's relish. Not too much, just a decent glug of it. Trust me, it'll be fantastic. And it becomes kind of subtle in the final dish. It's going to be amazing because obviously this is going to cook for hours and hours and hours. So yeah, and then all we'll do, just give that a good stir, make sure everything's coated, that tomato puree in there as well. And just let that continue to brown. That will sort of really glaze that meat for us. You can see it over there. So this has now been browning for about 7 or 8 minutes. It's time to get the rest of our stuff in there and get the slow cooking going on. So first thing to go in, onions. Drop those straight in. These will bring a bunch more water into the pot, which will kind of stop things browning at this point, which is what we want, because otherwise things are going to burn. Quick stir around, and we'll just let those sweat for a minute. Boil the kettle. You don't have to boil the kettle, you can start with cold water if you want, if you don't have a kettle. Why would you not have a kettle? I know they're a British thing. So while that boils, we'll just let these onions continue to sweat, don't stir them too much. And another thing that I want to add at this point is a little stock pot. This is a vegetable one. You can use beef if you've got it, you can use whatever you like, really. You can use fish if you want. I wouldn't, but you do you, it's your kitchen. Drop that in as well. And all of this is where our layers of flavour are going to come from. I'm going to throw these in. Don't want much colour on those, but just to get a bit of a start on the cooking. And we'll throw the carrots in as well. And there's nothing to do with these. I'm not going to bother topping them, tailing them, any of that stuff. Get rid of any that look a little bit past the best. Straight in. Make sure everything's really nicely cooked. Come and have a look. Come and see this. So there you can see everything starting to really come together. The flavours are starting to meld. Let's grab that kettle. It's not boiled, but I don't want it to boil at this point. We just want it hot, just to get a start on the slow cooking. So we've got an almost boiled-ish kettle, 60 odd degrees, maybe 70. Go in with some water until it just covers everything in our pot. Don't go too much water because you're slow cooking, so this water's not going to go anywhere. Lid on. Pop it first. Slow cook. We'll make that 6 hours. Hit start. And there we are. That's it. We can go out and play. Here we are, 6 hours later. This smells amazing, I won't lie. What I've got in here is a liquor. We need to make that into a gravy. Let's get that thickened up. Now, thickening this up, you could do it in there if you wanted to, but I don't recommend it because the meat's kind of fragile at this point. And if, like me, you don't want tons of tiny strands of meat, then the easiest thing to do is to get the liquid out, thicken it up, and then gently add it back in. We'll get a pan, and into that pan, that'll be fine. Here you go, take a look. So you can see we've still left some of that liquor in there. We can over thicken this, and then when we gently sort of fold it back through, it will be just the right sort of consistency. Now today I'm going to use cornflour. We could make a roux, but I can't be bothered. And cornflour will do the job just as well, so that's fine. Maybe a dessert spoon and a half. We'll just add it gradually until we've got the right sort of consistency that we're looking for. Just make yourself that slurry. It's literally just a little bit of water and some corn flour. Add maybe half of that to begin with and let this come to the boil. As it starts to come to the boil, it does also start to thicken. That's what we're looking for. I'm just going to add the rest of this. So as you can see, this is thickened up. It's thicker than I would usually want it to be, but that's great, that's perfect, because we are going to add it to the liquid that's still in here. And all I'll do, add this in, and then just sort of fold it. we need to check seasoning. We did add a little bit of salt. That's really delicious. It does need a little bit more salt. I'm going to go with some of the Himalayan salt at this point. And just a little more of this Worcester sauce. Check that again. That's fantastic. Absolutely delicious. So there we go. We'll pop that lid on. We'll let things just finish chilling out for a little while. It's as simple as that. 6 hours, but it's totally hands off. Just to finish off, a little bit of onion salt. Don't need much of this, just a bit. A sneaky last minute beef stock cube. Sprinkle that in. Just the same again, we don't want to break everything up in here, so just folding it through. In 5 minutes or so, ready to serve. I'm serving this with mash today. Serve it with potatoes of your choice or whatever else you want really. Cheesy mash. A little bit of kale. Love a bit of kale. You've got to have something, an irony green with this. Really fantastic. And then of course, for the main event, and there you have it. Simple, delicious, hands off, super fun when you want to go and do something else for the day. Throw it all in the cooker, leave it to it. Absolutely fantastic. Give it a try. And if you want to know how to make these potatoes, watch this video next.